That'd be absolutely devastating.
Oh! This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Almost messed up with the wrong show.
Yep.
Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S. How's it going? Also joined by Marcus Fine. How's it going, Marcus?
Doing good, doing good.
We got special guest pro wrestler Brodie Bodkins. How's it going, Brodie?
All right, how are you?
Not too bad at all. It'll always be worse is the way I look at it.
You're right about that one.
Dad, I'll let you get started so I can check the sound and stuff,
okay.
and then we'll.
Okay, Brodie. I don't know, you had been on the show before. I don't think I was a part of it then, so we'll start with some basic questions. First of all, where are you from? You just lost him.
Oh, yep.
You didn't like my first question, he left.
he'll be back in just like a little technical difficulty. You get that sometimes when you're live.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Now, my first question was, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Marion, Indiana. It's a small town, but it's really not a small town. I was born and raised on a farm out in it's called Upland, Indiana, about 15, 20 minutes away from Muncie.
I didn't know you was that close to Muncie. Never realized that.
Yeah, I'm only 30 minutes away from Muncie at my location.
What got you involved in pro wrestling?
Just at a young age. I mean, you always hear these stories about, seeing it on the TV and just falling in love with it. That's just really what it was for me. I remember when my dad was a big fan, and the first thing I remember is he turned on the TV and wrestling was on, and Undertaker had that Phantom mask, and ever since then it was an addiction. I watched it every week, and it got so bad that my mom had to ground me and stuff because I was trying to do the moves on my brothers and sisters.
Yep. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Shawn Michaels. Little funny secret. I used to sleep with the Shawn Michaels wrestling action figure until I was probably about 7 years old.
Really? That's cool. How long have you been a pro wrestler?
I started training in the end of 2016. And then I had my first match in March of 2017. I want to say at the end of October of 2016, but I'm not really too for sure on that one. So I always just say November of 2016, just because I know it was at least either the end of October or the beginning of November.
Who was your first match against?
His real name is Brett Stone. I forget what his shoot name was, or his worker name was, but his shoot name's Brett Stone, and it wasn't a very good match. I was way undertrained and wasn't ready for sure.
Who trained you?
It started out as she was trained by Jason Maples. It started out as Destiny Blade. We started at the Boys and Girls Club up in a boxing ring. She was showing me the fundamentals and stuff. And then it got to where we were bumping in the boxing ring. That was pretty rough. I broke my ribs when I was bumping in it. And then I had my first match in March at the Gas City Museum, which used to be an old school. And then after that, Hank Calhoun, homeless Hank, he took me up to WCWO one night, asked me if I wanted to ride with him. I said, yeah. And it was me and him versus the Bomb Shelter. And that was my second match. And then I had a few more matches there at WCWO after that. And then now my brother, J-Plex, he took me. He told me, he said, quit wrestling. He said, come with me. Took me under his wing, and started riding with him and doing ride-alongs with him, and started working with him in the ring. 2-3 days a week sometimes. Sometimes we didn't have access to a ring, but anytime that we could get a chance to get in the ring, we got in the ring, and he gave me some very knowledgeable training and information. I really didn't even know the psychological version of wrestling then, and I still don't know everything now, but I definitely know a lot more because of him. So I started training with somebody else, but I usually say that J-Plex from my Intense Championship Wrestling in Marion is the one that got me to where I am today.
We've seen J-Plex a couple times.
Yeah.
New Era.
New Era.
Yep.
Okay.
New Era. Yep. That was one of the very first companies I started riding to him with, and I knew Jed back from when I used to go to Jason's shows when I was 8 and 9 years old, and him and Kid Owens, him and Joey had a tag team back in the day, and I forget the name of it. I think it was like Southern Hospitality or something.
Southern
like
Rock,
that.
wasn't it? Southern Rock.
Southern Rock? I don't know. I'm not
I remember
sure.
those two. I was probably there when you were there.
It was a very good tag team.
Yeah.
And they were my favorite tag team back then.
Marcus, I was going to see if you had any questions, but before that, I wanted to say something to you. It's weird how much Jason Maples, where you love him or hate him, how much he's involved in one way or another with people's careers. Did you freeze up?
I think. Can you hear us, Marcus?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how much Maples can be involved in people's careers in one way or another. It's
Right.
just amazing.
I mean, everybody just has to realize that at that time he was the only one running around this area for an extensive amount of miles. And now a lot of your people that run today, they worked for Jason back when I was young. Anyway,
a lot, yeah.
Oh,
even Mike King. Mike King and
I was gonna say Mike King. Yep.
That's when we first. I don't want to say he started with Jason, but he did work for him.
Yes, yeah, a lot. Marcus, what was the first show you went to in Maples? Real quick, because I got a reason for that.
March 10th, 2001. He had Barry Horowitz as his headliner that night.
Do you remember a wrestler by the name of Big Nasty?
Oh yeah.
He was at my house watching WrestleMania. He works with my wife, and he wrestled for Maples back in 2001. He's a big dude. I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7", probably 300 some pounds. Matter of fact, he may be our camera guy for DCCW
Saturday night. He might run
night.
the camera. He might help us Saturday night. But yeah, he's big dude.
Oh,
Mom said he was 6'5", but
no,
I think he's taller than that.
He's taller than 6'5". Yeah, he's a big guy. And he said he went by the name Big Nasty. And I said, when did you quit wrestling? Or he said the last time he wrestled was in 2001. So I thought if he did, I thought you would know. So
Oh yeah, I remember him.
okay. Okay. Sorry, I got off the subject there, but I'm old and I would have never remembered the question if I would have waited.
Marcus, did you have a question?
You have any questions?
Did you ever do shows for Jason? You ever work for him?
I have done shows later in the years for Jason when it turned to Heroes and Legends.
Okay.
As EWF, I never really did a show. There was one time he pulled me and Jake into the ring because I used to go there with Jake all the time. Me and Jake usually used to live 2 houses from each other, so I would go over there all the time. So we would go and we'd go there, and I think he let us like do a little something in the ring. So hard to remember back that far, but yeah, I never really wrestled for him as a kid, but
Well, I remember Destiny. That's pretty cool. You don't ever hear anybody, especially a male, nothing against the females, but most people don't bring up a female as a trainer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember Destiny very well. So
I had looked into getting trained, by a school or a promotion that runs like that, and at that time, the funds didn't meet up, and I didn't have the funds to do it. And she came to me and was like, "Hey, are you still looking to get trained?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, yeah." And she threw me a price out. It was like I couldn't refuse it. I mean, and so we started when we got in there, and that's another reason why I don't say that she really trained me, but it started with her was because, she broke out her old boots. We were in there running the ropes as much as we could in a boxing ring. We were doing all the basic, very, very basic lockups, headlocks. Till this day, my chain wrestling isn't the greatest. It ain't the strongest, so we did very minimal stuff. And then I went and had my first match, and I didn't know anything psychology wise about wrestling at this time, and barely knew how to do moves, and had my very first match. And so that's when I was glad that, Jay Plexi hit me up and was like, "You know what?" He basically he's like, "I see your determination. I see your heart. I see your desire." He said, "Stop wrestling and come work out with me," basically. And so I did. And then that's how I started evolving into thinking how I think in the ring and how I work in the ring. And, still to this day, just yesterday he was hitting me up talking about, "Got any new matches? How's it going? I seen your back since your broken ankle, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got this, and, plugged everything." And, he's still to this day, he'll watch my matches and he'll give me feedback.
How long did you stop wrestling to train with him before you got back into the ring?
So I had when I was up at WCW the first time, I had went to go do a move and I planted on my right foot and front flip bumped. And when I did, I tore my ACL. So at first, we were doing probably 2 to 3 days. I'd say 2 or 3 months of that. His dad had bought a building, and his dad owned the wrestling ring because he owns ICW in Marion. And we put the ring up, and it stayed up. And we were able to say, "Hey, let's go down there for 2 or 3 hours and get in there." And just we did drills and we did rolls and we did we just did stuff that I've never done in training. And believe me, I was smaller than I was now, and I was blown up. I couldn't keep up with him. And he's not a very small guy. He was probably, I'd say, at least 240, 260 at this time. And he was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just running circles around me, working circles around me. And so, eventually, we got our cardio up together, and we got our leg strength up together, and we got our, we were starting to work out together, stuff like that. And so, and I traveled a lot with him to New Era, Emerge. I think one time I loaded up a minivan of my best friend's dad's minivan. We loaded up in it 8 people deep, and we drove 6 hours to Michigan and 6 hours back, or not Michigan, Chicago. I'm sorry. And that's been probably close to the beginning of my career, so going on 7 years.
How long did it take you as a pro wrestler? How many years, or I don't know if it was years, or before you felt like you was comfortable in the ring and putting on matches that you were satisfied with?
I really started to notice my cardio was getting really good, and my matches were starting to get better, and I was really starting to figure it out, and I was really starting to see that see everything that everybody talks about, hey, this is what you should do here, this is what you should do there, you should have done this, should have done that, and it really started reflecting on me. I'd say about a year prior to breaking my ankle, so I'd say about 2 or 3 years in, it started making sense. Maybe 3.5 to 4, so I'd say 2 to 4 years, and then it started making sense, and then it started to not just make sense, but it started to show, because my matches started to get better and better and better, and to where I'm getting more bookings now.
What was the first time we seen? Was it WCW?
And having more chances, in certain companies.
So have you broke your ankle more than once in the ring then?
No, I've only broke my ankle once, and that was in April against Dex.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
I had a knee surgery in 2012 due to football, from high school football, and then in 2015, the meniscus that they repaired in that same knee tore again. So then they went in and clipped it and repaired it again, and then 2017, the same meniscus ripped again, and so they went in and clipped it again and repaired it. And then in 2019, I had a ACL meniscus reconstruction surgery again, and then the ankle injury. And
I'll tell you what, for as well as you move, I'd have never thought that you've had that much trouble with your knee.
I did a lot of dumb stuff when I was young. I've jumped off buildings and stuff, and I wasn't always this stature. Back in high school, I think the day I had my knee surgery, which was like a month and a half after I injured it, was I think I injured it in the August. Late time in August, and I didn't have the surgery till November, so September. I'm sorry, sometime late in September, and I didn't have the surgery till November, so I was on crutches and couldn't go work or nothing like that. But I wasn't always so fat. I was always a little chubby, but like I've always been athletic. I was football, basketball, baseball, running up and down the road, running in the yard, chasing cousins and stuff like that. Like I wasn't very, very big until like I had my first knee surgery. Then I started gaining the weight, and then another knee surgery, started gaining weight. And that's I don't want people to think that I use that as an excuse, because it's not. I could after my knee surgeries, I could have went and worked out, and I just got lazy. So, but it's really working right now for me, though. I've lost 30 pounds in the last month and a half, or 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. No, 6 weeks. Lost 30 pounds in the last 6 weeks, and so we're back on the busting our ass schedule.
You're one of the best big guys that I've seen in the independents. You're fantastic. I mean, I think these guys will agree with me on that. I think you're fantastic, man. I really do.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Not just because you're on the air with us. I mean,
no, I remember like we were just talking. I remember first time seeing you there in AACW in Kokomo, and then we saw you at WCW.
And I think you wrestled Jed.
Yep.
And I was just so impressed with
that's
that match.
When Jed was going to tell one of the fans to get in the ring.
Yeah.
It was actually Santos. He's a wrestler.
Yeah, because he was mouthing off to Jed. But yeah, I was just so impressed with that match and both of you. So
and real quick, your match so that 2 weeks ago with Jackson Morgan at DCCW. That was awesome. You guys
hard hitting.
You guys beat the hell out of each other.
Thank you. Definitely had some bruises and some dents after that one.
Well, since you brought that up, tell us about Friday now that it's over. I was there. I seen what happened. So,
I mean, I can show you. I don't have to tell you. I got bruises all up and down my arms. I got bruises all over my back. I'm still sore. Dex came out the better man of that one, but I believe somewhere down the road that me and Dex will cross paths again, and he might not get the upper hand next time.
I've heard a lot of good things about that match as well.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, and I didn't actually see him land on you because all those people got in my way, but I do know he jumped off that corner ring post and
you can see
up in a bunch of chairs and.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough next morning.
If you didn't see the sound booth, you had maybe a dozen people looking over the corner of that down at you guys. So,
and that's when and going back to your question, when did it really start making sense, and when did it really start, showing, and it really, it's starting to make a lot of sense, with and to work with somebody the caliber of Dex is always a complete honor, because you never know if you're gonna, like, when you go to a show and you pull up there and they booked you and they don't give you nothing, they don't give you, oh well, you're working Dex Royal and you guys are gonna have a last man standing match or whatever. They don't, some places don't give you that, so you don't know who you're working, you don't know who, and then you get to work with people like Dex, and so that it just makes you forever grateful that these people see your work and they're putting you against the likes of Dex Royal, and the twins are really good workers, and Jordan James is a really good worker, and now you see more of that trend with me, and that's more of who I've been battling here lately, and it feels good, but at the same time, you never know.
Yeah, well, I seen you when you and Jake took on the highlight reel, and you guys had the upper hand for most of that match.
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way when you step through those ropes. It can go either way, and you make one little mistake, and it can turn the whole match around. It can really it can win it for you, and it can lose it for you. And we made a mistake, but me and Jake have sat down. We've discussed it. We've talked about it, and we know what we've done wrong. And now, next time we face the twins, we know what we need to do. We know what we need to do to beat them. We know what we need to do to be on that level.
Do you have a preference when you get in the ring? Would you rather wrestle a bigger guy like a Jed, or would you rather wrestle a guy like Dex? Or what? Do you have a preference? You don't like my question.
He said you can stay home with your question.
Yeah, Marcus, I just let you ask the question.
There he is.
Yeah,
well, I think he's froze up.
Yep.
He'll be back in just a second. I think somebody might have been calling him sometimes when you're on the phone.
Yeah, guys out there, hey, he's fantastic.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen Brodie,
go to Kokomo. You can go to WCWO. He'll be at DCCW. Definitely check out Brodie, and he's fantastic.
We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear him.
Hey, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Try backing out and coming back in. See if that'll give you your sound back.
Yep. No, you got it on mute. There we go. Did that do it? I still think some of the weather has something to do with these.
No.
Back out.
Yep.
Trying to come back.
I still think some of the weather, depending on where that signal's being hit from, could have something to do.
Oh yeah.
He's so ugly. He broke the camera. That's what McGar wrote.
What's up, Bruce?
What's your favorite match in your career? Christian, we'll ask him that when he gets back.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I have a feeling I know where he's going with that.
Brodie said
I've seen that match too.
Yeah.
Roger said Brodie botched.
He also said that Brodie's
New Era. Yeah, we've also seen him at New Era.
Yep.
There he's back.
How are we now, boys?
There you go.
Yep.
All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, to get back to your question, Mr. Gonzo, I would say it really doesn't matter to me about the stature of the opponent that I face. I think it's really fun to get in there with the little guys and not to completely be able to keep up with them or to be able to go at their level, because my cardio is not that good. But to be able to just get in there and mix it up with them guys, that's really fun for me. Like, because it takes a really good post to lean on to hold you up. And so, like, when they're doing some moves and everything, they need a really good post, and I feel like I'm that good at giving post and stuff like that. As far as big men, I've always been a physical guy. So like I've played football, I've done like all that stuff. So like I have I have a really high pain tolerance, and I like working bigger guys because they're a little bit more stiffer. And there is some guys, don't get me wrong, Dex, he is very, very snug. And I like it though. I do. I like it. I would rather, feel it than not feel it at the end of the day. And so with your bigger guys, they kind of, they always say, oh, them bigger guys don't know their own strength and stuff like that. And so that's where it's fun there too. And then it's also fun to try to collab with another bigger guy to see what we could do.
Come on, Quinn.
Well, real quick, Christian asked, Christian Cash asked, what's your favorite match in your career?
I would have to say probably the Fans Bring the Weapons match at AACW. That one was really fun. That was my first gimmick match. It was the first time I ever juiced or anything like that and bled. So that one was really fun. And plus it was like a week before my birthday, so that's why we got to do all the crazy things we got to do, because it was like a birthday present from the promoter to me and to the other guys. But I would have to say a really close second is the match that me and Dex just had. I feel like the match that me and Dex just had was a really, really good one. And we always keep saying in AACW, because, that was like second home to me before, I started going up to WCWO every week also. It was like a second home to me. And so, me and, all the other guys in the locker room was talking about how we're going to top this match. Because you always try to top the match before. Like, you always try to have the best match you can ever have in your life. And that's what going out there and getting that does. I see where Christian Cash is coming, and I set Christian Cash on fire. Yeah, I did. But Christian Cash has always been a fun opponent for me. Really great kid. He listens very well in the ring. He listens very well outside the ring. I hope to work with him a lot more in the future too. And then Justin Terrell, we've had 2, 3, 4 matches probably, and every single one of them has been a flyby. It's just right through it. And the next thing you know, you thought you were out there for 20 minutes and you were only out there for 10 or 7 or 9. And so just working Justin's really easy. So he's another really good worker, which actually we get to see him for the first time. And I think he said it's 2015. He's going to venture out and come to DCCW and make his debut this weekend. So that was pretty exciting to me. But yeah,
his first match back from injury as well.
Yes, it'll be his first match back from he broke his foot too. Luckily, and thank God it didn't need surgery, because prayers for that. But yeah, hopefully he gets in there and he's 100%. He can get going.
You covered the favorite match. Do you have a favorite opponent?
Oh man. It might be crazy because I've only wrestled him once, and I think Marcus was there for that one, or he might not have been. I think you missed that one. I think you got there after we had already worked. It was sentimental to work, my cousin Jake over there at JICW, because ever since we were young kids, it's all we talked about was growing up and becoming professional wrestlers and being a tag team, and taking over the wrestling industry. And that's all we talked about. Literally, we've had we were like, let's start a trampoline wrestling company, and we'll charge people 50 cents to get it, come sit and watch us wrestle. And I had this for Christmas one year. I got this replica WCW big gold championship belt, and that was the championship belt of our promotion of the trampoline wrestling and stuff like that. And so to wrestle him, it was really great, felt really great. To also I've also been taking him like underneath my wing and teaching him a lot more ever since he started venturing out from his original training place, AACW. So, that was sentimental to me, but I would have to say probably Christian Cash. He's been really fun to work with. Dex has been really, really fun to work with. So I don't know. It's a tie. Justin's been really, really fun to work with. I've had a lot of fun with the stories that I've been in at WCWO and AACW. They've been really good stories and really good storytelling by the promoters. And when I go to a new company, that's all I ever ask for is just let it make sense, please. Please just let it make sense. I'll make sure the match makes sense by calling it, but how to make that make sense. But just keep it. If you expect to bring it back, just keep it making sense, because that's all that's all that matters to me is the storytelling of wrestling. Titles are really irrelevant. I mean, yeah, they're nice, but at the end of the day, you put them at the door and they're a door stopper. They're a paperweight. You know what I mean? So wrestling's, and that's one thing that I will praise Jay Plex about. He always taught me, titles aren't nothing really. I mean, they are, but they're not. But it's about the storytelling for me. That's what I love about wrestling. I love to tell a story and to keep people thinking like what's going to happen next, just like with the Dex and Brodie situation, what's next for us, nobody knows, and I don't even know, but the suspense that we created with the last match is going to be like, what are they going to do next? Like we did a lot in that last match, and it's like, what can they do next?
When you show up like it don't even have to be a new promotion, but like any promotion, and you and they tell you like who you're going to wrestle and stuff. How much control do you have over how the match goes?
So the way I was trained is a little bit different than how current people are trained. Some workers, they'll be like, oh, I'm not doing that. I was trained, the vet has majority of the match, so even though that I just probably a few matches ago, I just had a match against Baron Von Kane up at WCWO, and
you know who that is.
Yep.
And so for most of the match, he was in control. He was in, and that's the way it's supposed. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that, and that's how I was trained. I was trained by somebody that was trained like that himself. They still let you. They'll ask you. What do you like to do? They'll ask you a few moves that you like to do. Like what's your move set, and then you tell them, and then they have the people like Baron and TJ that's been working longer and been working at places that that we fathom about working at. They have really good minds, and they know where to put that stuff.
What was the hardest thing for you to learn in pro wrestling?
It just, you stay learning. So like, I don't know if I can honestly say that there was the hardest thing that I could learn, because I'm not done learning. So I don't know if something will ever top that. To this point, it'd probably be a lot of people have trouble with psychology. Like I said, and that's what takes a while. That's what, like, at 3 or 4 years, that's when you start getting it. You're like, oh, that's why they tell you to do, this, or you shouldn't do this. And, for big men, for a small guy like Jordan James to hit me with one clothesline and me bump for him doesn't make any sense at all, because if he was to hit me in real life like that, I mean, I'm not falling. I'm a big guy. I'm a big statured guy. And it's just, so I would say for a lot of people, it would probably be psychology. And, but I mean, it takes some heart and dedication to, get in here, because like I said, you have to have so many different things. Cardio is big, leg strength is big, 90% of what we do in wrestling is with our legs. We don't, do we lift with our arms a little bit? Yeah, sure. but 90% of what we do in wrestling is with our legs. So, you know, you need to have that leg strength. And with me, I've had to come back from injury after injury. So it's like, I have to keep rebuilding my leg strength. And so I would say that that's probably the thing I struggle with the most is like keeping the leg strength up and probably cardio, you know, because I'm a bigger guy. So you get out of breath a lot easier.
Christian Cash had another question here. Who is your dream opponent on the indies that you would love to main event against at WrestleMania?
Wow. That's a good question. I mean, there's just so many of them. You could say the likes of Myron Reed. You can say the likes of, you know, just any of those guys that's really, you know, making it out there. You know, there's a lot of guys. If I had to think of one person that I would love to work on the grandest stage of them all in the main event on the indie scene right now, and that I know that I could go in there and have 100% a really good match and everything, it would either have to be I don't know, El Helio. I mean, that dude right now, he's trending. Yeah. That would probably be, you know, a good one. Myron Reed, he's another good one. There's just so many on the independent scene. That's really Jed. I'd love to do Jed at Mania. That would be, you know, a lot of people don't know, but that's my dad. Jed's my wrestling father, and you know, him and his wife have done a lot for my you know, have done a lot for my daughter since she was born, and you know, we've really created a bond to where, you know, that's my dad. So
I was going to say match I'd like to see would be Brodie and Tankman.
Yeah, I'd love to work Tankman again. You know, I worked him, and we did a little. I think it might have been like a little fatal 4-way deal, you know. And he's another good worker that you know used to work at the Dub. And
DCCW wants to know who your favorite indie guy named Mike is.
You got to figure out who's behind that, don't you?
Yeah.
My favorite indie guy that is named Mike. Well, it definitely is not Mike King. That guy is horrible. That guy is something else.
And Frankie says, Brodie, you and Frankie at Mania.
No, we're not doing that. I'll be his manager maybe, but no. As long as he don't cheat on me, I'll be his manager.
People could go on and say like Congo Kong, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's so many out there right now that's on the indie scene that's just doing so many things. And you know, that's another thing. Learning from a big guy like Congo and Jed, that was really another thing that really gave me the big guy, let me get to the big guy stage that I'm at now. They really you know, helped me break stuff down. So I do have to give a little praise to them for being the big guys that talk to big guys and be like, you know, as a big guy, this is what we do. This is why we think this way, stuff like that.
Since we're going that direction, one of the questions I had was fantasy opponent. You know, gonna put you, but we'll just say WrestleMania. Anybody, I mean, anybody in WWE, anybody that's past, present. Who would it be? Who would be your guy that you'd want to be that big match?
I would probably have to say, I mean, Shawn. I mean, it goes back to Shawn Michaels. You know, I mean, the dude's Mr. WrestleMania for a reason. He's phenomenal. I'm sure he's fucking fun to work in the ring with. Like, I'm sure it's just like, you know, there's probably no better match than that at Mania. I mean,
I know who I would want to put you against, and we'll see what Marcus thinks about this. King Kong Bruiser Brody.
Are you familiar with Bruiser Brody?
I am familiar with Bruiser Brody.
Would you think you could handle that? he was more than hardcore. I think he
was nuts.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
that would
be good.
You know, I like those kind of matches. Like I said, I guess I'm addicted to pain. Like it's.
Well, he'll give you the pain, or he would have. So,
yeah.
You know, I would say, you know, yeah, Bruiser Brody would be a real good one. Yes, Roger, I'm going to be at New Era, and I'm going to dump another water bottle on your head if you don't shut up.
Well, he asked why you were so mean to him earlier twice.
Well,
so why are you so mean to him?
Because he's a fan that wants to do more than be a fan. He needs to sit in the crowd, shut up, and pay like he does to watch me do what I do best, and that's work in that ring. And he just needs to shut up and stop chanting just like that Bruce McGar, the loudmouths that they are. They just need to shut their pie holes.
Frankie says Brodie versus Bray Wyatt.
That'd be interesting.
That's another one that he's so creative thinking. Like, you know, a lot of people say that the Fiend was the best gimmick that WWE's had in years. You know, since the non-attitude era, like that, the stuff with the Fiend was like really, really good. And I agree. Like I agree. Like that was, to me, the Fiend was, as a character, I think he was the dopest character that they've had since then. They have a lot of really good workers, and even workers that don't get a lot of spotlight. Eli Drake, I think that dude, like when he was in TNA, I was cracking up. He'd do the freaking whole dummy, yeah, you know. So it was like, you know, even him, like wrestling him at Mania would be, you know, a good, you know, a match that I would want. You know, so just there's so many guys out there that you could just wrestle with and collab with, and hopefully one day I get to collab with some of the greats.
I want that too.
Well,
Brodie to slam Frankie. I vote for that.
there was a couple out there. I was Brodie must, yeah. Frankie's loving Brodie.
Favorite wrestling move that you like wrestlers did when you was growing up, and also the favorite wrestling move that you do, and also one that you dislike, a move that you just dislike that you never got. Why they do it? Or maybe even taken.
See that one? Mike back on here. Brodie versus Mike King, 2-minute squash. Mike over.
Oh man,
Who's that? Who's Mike King?
Who's Mike King?
I don't know who that is. I really don't talk to strangers. Stranger danger.
Stranger danger.
So I'm sorry. To the first question.
Favorite wrestling move of people, you know, that you've growing up that you've seen.
Okay. I think I'm going to say that Ricochet's 630 is pretty freaking like, it's just because how do you rotate that much in air? You know, people that are skinnier than him and just don't do it. So it's like he's another one that you could fantasize about working at Mania on the grandest stage in the main event. My favorite all-time wrestling move, back when I seen P.D. Williams and TNA hit that Canadian Destroyer, I was like, what the heck? And, you know, it's moves like that can create bad outcomes. You know, we just seen Pentagon, and then they hit it on Ring of Honor or Dynamite, and it broke Dante Martin's leg.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, prayers out to him. You know, that's I know what that feels like. I can only imagine what he's going through. Hopefully everything comes out and he's able to, you know, do what he loves again. I would have to say another move that I hate. I get the spear. I get why, because you know, it chops them in half. You know, it can hurt you. But I just think it's overused and misused. I mean, like, you got everybody doing it. You had Roman Reigns, Goldberg, Edge, Bobby Lashley. You know, you have so many people doing the spear. And it's just Jared Bird. Who's Jared? Anybody know who this Jared Bird guy is?
I think he's friends with Bruce.
Heck yeah, he just said I was his hero. That's another fan on the little checklist. Maybe
you have a favorite move that you do.
I like the Samoan. I like that Samoan drop that I do. I like all the moves I do, obviously, but I would have to say my top two would be probably the Samoan and the double choke slam power bomb.
Marcus, you got any more questions?
Yeah, you do. You've done hardcore. I've seen that, street fights. Is there any match that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Every one of them. Every gimmick. I mean, every match that you can think of.
What about deathmatch? Are you into that, or?
I could probably venture into a little bit of that. I'm not real crazy about the guys that take light tubes and stab them in each other's heads. And I mean, a lot of people do it, and to each their own. I just think that it's a little crazy, especially since is that a wrestling move? I mean, in a real fight, if you had a light bulb, I guess you would stick in somebody's head, but not every day do you go into a real fight having a light bulb. Not saying that it's not. It's probably fun, and you see a lot of guys do it, like Hoodfoot, Mo Atlas, Dale Patrick's, Eric Dillinger. All the guys are out there doing it, and I don't look down upon it. I'm just saying that I wouldn't tear my body up that far for it, but I would venture into it. I'd have a couple, I mean, maybe a couple a year, couple of here and there, every other 3 years. I don't know what I mean. Nobody's really asked me and approached me about a death match, so we'd have to obviously talk about a few details, and other than that, well, there's nothing but
there's a gentleman on there right now probably can make that happen for you. Gary Emmett.
Gary, I would not be opposed to doing a death match. Like I said, we'd have to work out some details, but other than that, it's not out the question.
And excuse me, how's it going, Gary? Thanks for joining us as well.
Yep, appreciate it.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for being a viewer.
What do you love about the wrestling business, and what's one thing that you dislike about the wrestling business?
I love, like I told you, I love to be going out there and connecting with these young kids. Now that I have a kid of my own, it makes you look at, things different with kids. So I feel like if I'm connecting with a kid inside of a wrestling arena, he's not out there getting himself in trouble and stuff like that. So that's one big thing, is having an influence on these young kids. Even after I talk, crap to them and be mean to them and stuff like that, at the end of the show, they still come up and say, Brodie, good match, or, they still buy your t-shirts and stuff like that. And it's just, I think that's more satisfying than anything, is being able to tell these kids another story, another bedtime story, and send them home happy, and just to be able to keep them out, keep them out of trouble. The thing I hate most about the wrestling business would be have to be, just the drama. There's a lot of drama, some people get to that point where they get, their egos are really big, and, they're, just too good to do certain things, or, a big one is put people over. I don't want to really put him over because he's not established or something like that. Me, I was trained, you go into the company, you do what the promoter asks you to do, and you shut up. If he tells you to put that guy over, you put him over. If he doesn't tell you to put him over, then you do whatever he wants. And anybody can ask any promoter about me. What do you want from this? What's your vision of what you're wanting out of this match, like the results and stuff like that? And then I try to make that happen to my best of my ability by just doing what the promoter tells me to do. At the end of the day, they're the ones that pay us to do a job, and I need to go in there and complete that job.
One thing that you could change about the wrestling business, if you could.
Oh man.
We're gonna be here for a while.
No, we ain't gonna be here for a while. Number one thing I would change about the wrestling business is the band that I would have on every single arena in the state of Indiana. It would say, "No Bruce McGar allowed."
I knew that was coming.
That's what I would. That's what I would like to change about the wrestling business. Bruce McGar must stay at home.
That'd be a good one.
But on a serious note, probably like you know, being able to it's pricey. It's pricey, and there's people out here that want to live the dream, that can't afford it. So maybe the way that some people can get in, instead of just saying, oh yeah, I'm trained, and I was trained by this company because I looked it up on the internet, and then somebody giving you a match and you looking like crap or whatever. Maybe changing it to where there's like a lower price school to where they can go to for a lower price and not so much of a high price. But I get it. It's a business. I also get that side of it. So I would guess just try to get in. I didn't get in the right way myself. I didn't pay the whole shenanigan money and go how long you're supposed to go to school before you get in the match. I didn't do it the correct way. I got in the way that some people are starting to get in. And if I would have any advice to anybody that wants to get in the business, go to a wrestling school. I mean, they're pricey, but they're worth it. Like, you don't understand until you're there that it's worth it. Even at 6 years in the business, I don't know. A lot of you may not have been watching Facebook or other podcasts, but as some of you guys may know, in August I will be going to Texas to train with Dustin Rhodes. And after 6 years, that's still a pretty penny to pay. After 6 years, I'm still going to go pay it. You never quit learning. That's one thing that I would say, that keep learning. Try to get to a wrestling school. We have a couple good ones nearby. You got New Era, you got WCWO with Joey. I don't know if ICW in Marion is still doing any trainings or anything like that. I don't know if DCCW does anything like that, but if they do, DCCW would be another place to go to.
I think they're planning on getting
knowledge.
something. I think DCCW is planning on getting something started up, but they haven't yet.
Of course,
Yeah,
you got Congo Kong.
like I said,
Congo Kong, and also
Jake Oman.
Jake Oman. I was trying to think.
Oh yeah, Jake Oman, Congo Kong over in Bluffton. Yeah, like there's just so many of them. The only thing is they can get pricey, but it's, at the end of the day, I would say it's worth it. You get to work with the likes of Jake Oman, Joey Owens, the trainers over at New Era, like you said, Congo Kong. You get to work with those guys, and they get to teach you the business the correct way. And like I said, it's worth it, but I understand it's pricey sometimes.
You said you was going to go get to work with Dustin Rhodes. Where will you be going to, and how did that come about?
So about 2 years ago now, because I started wrestling in February of 2021, I think it was, when we came back from COVID. And like I said, I started wrestling over there at AACW regularly every month. Started wrestling up at WCW, I think, of March, or no, is it February? No, actually, November of 2022 is when we started back over in Kokomo.
Yep.
Or not 2022, 2020. I'm sorry, 2020 November in Kokomo, and then 2022 we had that year, or 2021 we had that year, and then in 2021, 2022, and then I broke my ankle in 2022. So in the beginning of 22, I broke my ankle. I had got back in the ring over there, blah blah blah, and then I seen a post on Facebook, and I when AEW first started, they signed Dustin Rhodes to a contract, and so he was able to do his own little Facebook thing now and everything, and he started up the Rhodes Wrestling Academy and everything, and he was putting out advertisement online on Facebook, and it said to apply, apply now, press here. So I pressed it, and then I went through the little gimmick of putting your name in and this, that, and the other, and then at the end of it, it was like, shoot me a 2-minute video of why you think that you should be accepted into the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. I basically just told him, I have the drive, I have the heart, I have the passion to want to succeed in this business, to want to be something in this business, to make this business my career, and I want to be able to come to one of the greats with over 30 years of experience and learn from him, you know. And my dad had passed away in 2018, and long story short, my dad named me after Dustin Rhodes, and Ryan Sandberg from the Cubs. My name is Dustin Ryan, and you know, that's who my dad named me after. Those two guys. He was his favorite wrestler at the time, and his favorite baseball player. And you know, he was a diehard Cubs fan. So for me, when I got accepted, it was and it's still to this day, it's sentimental. It's sentimental to go there because, you know, my dad named me after this guy, and it would mean so much to be able to work with somebody of that caliber and have that connection with it too.
So when you applied back then, did you did he just now get back with you, or did they get back with you? You had to wait because of the injury.
I got accepted in 2022 when I broke my ankle. I was already accepted, and I didn't put it out there. I hadn't put it out there yet. I was supposed to go August of that year of 2022. Well, I broke the ankle in April. So then I was trying to get healthy and stuff by August. Just wasn't going to happen. And then it was from August to November was the camp. So he doesn't do anything in December. And then they had one in January of this year, and the ankle still wasn't ready. And then they had just one in March, and the ankle still wasn't, 100%. I didn't start working until I think late March, and he was going in early March. March. So then now there's one in April, and I could have got into that class, but at the same time, I didn't just start running the ropes till a couple weeks ago, fully running the ropes, getting back into, the rolls and everything like that, and being able to feel great on it in the ring. So I had called and talked to him and felt like I didn't need to go right then and there. And so they told me that I'm more than welcome to go in the next class, which will be this August. I will be headed down there to go to that 12-week course. I actually think I got accepted in.
So it was before you broke your ankle.
2021. Yeah, it was before I broke my ankle. I had got accepted, and I was supposed to go in March of that year, but I told him that my daughter was going to be born during the time that I would have been down there. I was supposed to go in May. I'm sorry, May. I was supposed to go in May of that year, and my daughter was supposed to be born in July, so I would have missed the birth of my daughter. And we both parties had agreed that that was a pretty big thing for being a first-time father, and she didn't want me to miss that. So that's why we had the August showcase that I was going to get into, the August class that I was going to get into, and then after we made that decision in February, come March, I had broke the ankle.
Now, you said that you said you had to live off site though, right? There's more to it than just going down there. You have to find a job, find an apartment. Is that what you told me, or?
So you can. I mean, like for me, I've had the graciousness of having the funds to go down there and not having to have a job if I don't need to. I could just go down there and do the camp. You don't technically have to have a job, but yeah, they either put you. I want to say that they put you in like an Airbnb or something like that. You have to do an Airbnb or something like that. I don't want to say they put you in there. I don't know what really goes on. I just know that there is living costs down there while you're there. So, you're going to have that. But like I said, I was gracious enough to where if I didn't want to work, if I went down there, I didn't have to. So it would be smart if you work, because they said that they only train certain days. And so that gives you, I think it was like 4 days a week that you got to be able to go to work and work like a regular time job to be able to help pay for stuff while you're down there, like your living, if you had to, if you didn't have all the money to pay for everything then. But yeah, there's housing fees, there's the school costs, and then like I said, I plan on working while I'm down there, at a job down there somewhere. Hopefully I go down there and get hired on pretty easy, and it goes pretty smooth. But yeah.
Like at the end of the school or whatever, do they have like a show that you get to wrestle on or anything?
Yeah, it's basically it's called the Rhodes Wrestling Academy Showcase. So they do a showcase to where like the trainees go on there and they put on matches and stuff like that. I just got done watching the showcase, and they really had a really solid showcase this last camp that just got out in March. They just got out in March. They had a really good showcase. Then a name that might ring a bell to you guys, Corey Dillinger. He's just completed the that he just posted on Facebook. They give you a little diploma type deal, award.
Yeah, we've seen Dillinger before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is great opportunity.
Good that they're working with you.
Yeah,
Since
yeah.
that you could postpone it because of life issues,
and that was one thing. Like I was gonna go when they first gave me the opportunity. I was gonna go, and I was gonna miss out on my daughter's birth because that's the kind of love and passion that I have, that I want this to be my career. And I looked at it like, it's gonna further my career for me to be able to provide for my daughter even better. So I was gonna go, and she was like, no, we'll put you in the next course, and then in April, when I broke the ankle, I think it was 2 or 3 days later, because I spent hours in the hospital and barely could stay awake because of the pain meds that they had me on and stuff like that. So I think it was a few days later, I called her and I said, hey, I want to let you know that I broke my ankle. They're saying 6 to 8 weeks, but then it really turned into my last surgery was on June 14th, and I just started wrestling back in February of this year. I wasn't ready for the January camp, if that tells you anything. So and she's like, no, you get a hold of me when you're healed up at 100%. So we talked in January, and I was still, again, I was going to go down there because I was like, man, if I don't go down, even on this 75% ankle, if I don't go down there, I'm going to lose out on this.
Don't want to lose the opportunity.
And so we had talked and she helped me. She, even to this day, I still text his wife Terrell and ask her, because she's on keto too, and that's the diet I've started to help start me losing weight and stuff. And to this day, I'm still, if she's like, if you have any questions, hit me up. And sometimes we do get into a texting battle back and forth and say, hey, how are you doing? And we keep in contact. So that was another thing that it was good, because we kept in contact, and I kept her up to date on everything. And another reason why I didn't go down in April, not only was the ankle not healed, my daughter's first birthday is in June, so I really didn't want to miss that, but I was also, willing to miss that if I would have went. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, if your ankle's still not 100%, let's just wait. We can move you out to another showcase. That's never the problem, as long as you do the right paperwork and everything else. So they've been really graceful with it, and I'm so grateful for that.
That's a great opportunity.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Best decision that you've made in your wrestling career, and worst decision you've made in your wrestling career?
Best decision I've ever made in my wrestling career is to stop wrestling when J-Plex told me to stop, and to come do work, training and workouts with him and stuff like that. Because it gave me a whole different view on wrestling. And, it gave me more, spending 3 to 5 hours in a car every weekend of the day, every day of the weekend, that's 15 hours that I'm spending with this guy, driving up and down the roads and, talking nothing but wrestling and him, just talking to me and it working, you know, and me taking it all in. That would probably have to be my best decision, is to quit wrestling, even though I did not want to at that point in time, and to, you know, basically seek better training and go with him. Worst decision I ever made was getting in the business the way I did. I wish I would have went to like a legit wrestling school, like I was telling the newer fellers that's trying to get in to do. I definitely would have wished that I would have went to, you know, somebody like the likes of Jake or New Era or Kong or, you know, Joey, or, you know, these guys that are out there, you know, getting it right now. That would probably be my worst mistake.
Toughest match that you've been in?
Probably the Fans Bring the Weapons match. That was a really brutal match. I think we were out there for, you know, 45 minutes, 48 minutes, something like that. You know, obviously a little bit of that's, you know, our entrance, but for the main part, you're out there and you know, here, there. So the mentally and physically wise, I think that was the you know, the most draining match I've been in.
Easiest match you've been in, where everything just went according to plan, everything went perfect?
And there's just so many of them when you work with people like Dex and, you know, like the Jordan James, like I mentioned them guys all the time. You know, when you work guys like that's been, you know, doing it for a while, and they've gotten great mentors and trainers and stuff like that, it just flows easy with them. You know, like even, you know, Zay Gates, he's new to the business. You know, he's got a couple years in, I think maybe 3 at this time. Even him, like the match was a breeze. Like we went out there and we did our thing, and it was a breeze. So I don't really think I can tell you a match that really was like the easiest match. I think maybe the easiest match was probably going out, choke slamming somebody and getting the pin and coming back to the curtains. That's probably the easiest match. But just as like a day and night walkthrough, I don't think I could give you just one name. I'd have to say a bunch of them, because, you know, just people that are at that caliber is really good to work with.
Marcus, do you have anything other questions?
Yeah, I know DCCW is this weekend, but next weekend's AACW. You're playing a face where you normally play a heel. Tell us about your thoughts on going into that match, and being that they postponed it because of November in the building and all that. And
yeah, so I'm really excited. I don't get to play face many places. As you can tell, I'm a heel just about everywhere I go. I would like to say that's because they look and they see like that I can play an okay heel. You know, I'm not gonna I don't have a problem playing whatever they want me to play. I think for that story over at ACW in particular, it was time. It's really hard to play a heel character when you have 30 to 40 family members that you know live by and visit like yearly and daily. You know, just like this last you know match with Dex, you know, I had 15 to 20 members of my family sitting right there in that section, and it was hard not to, you know, hug my mom and, you know, kiss my niece, which I love dearly, you know. So even though you're a heel, like those moments are hard, and it feels good because like you don't know what it feels like until you do it, when they're chanting your name and you got people just chanting for you and trying to, you know, get behind you. And you know, I really don't ever have anybody like that doing that, because I'm never really a face.
must have had a phone call.
Yep.
Hey, what you doing?
Roger says because he's a jerk.
Yeah. Well, one got me
So,
with Garza because you ate the.
There we go.
I can work both. I can work a face and I can work a heel. I've done it before, and you know, I'm pretty confident that I can work those spots and stuff like that and have a good match with it. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how that crowd reacts, you know, since the face turn for me, you know, when I turned on the Golden Prophecy and stuff like that. I think it was time for that story.
How hard is it going to be since Travis Southern is a veteran and basically Kai Maho is still a rookie, I feel? I mean, you got two totally different styles on one team.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be too hard. When you step in the ring, like again, we go back to the likes of, you're stepping in with Dex Royal and people like of that caliber, you learn a lot. So then I'm able to take that and put it in the other matches that I have. So, we'll be able to figure it out. And that's the main thing that we have to do. We have to figure it out. It's sad to say, but probably the most athletic person in that match is going to be Kai. And he's so young and, fresh to the business. And Jake, they're probably going to be the two most athletic people in the match. Me and Travis, we're bigger guys, we're bigger fellas. And not that I can't do back flips and front flips. I can. It's just, I don't, at times I don't need to. Sometimes you have to make it make sense. So we'll make it work for the crowd, and we'll get out there and we'll try our best to get going what we got to get going.
I'm looking forward to that show. I love Kokomo. I love the crowd. The crowd there is fantastic. Your fans are.
They're really them are some gangsters over there. I'm gonna tell you that now.
Oh yeah.
There's some cutthroat people,
Oh yeah.
So,
most definitely. We found that out. We went to that very first show November of what was it, 21? Yeah. We found out real quick.
Yeah,
they were cussing us out. We were just,
you guys are just commentators in a podcast, and they're
yeah.
Oh yeah, we had, and some of them was kids cussing us out.
There's some gangsters over there.
You're Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Who would be your 4?
Well, I have to go number 1 with Shawn Michaels. He's always been my favorite. I would say number 2, Ric Flair. The way that Ric Flair could get on the mic and just express anything that he wanted to express, and he could back it up in the ring. He could go to, he always kept the crowd entertained. Either way he was face or whether he was heel, they was booing him, or if he was just managing Triple H in the Evolution. He always had that presence over a crowd. Number 3 would probably have to be The Rock. The Rock's a really good one on the mic and in the ring. And then probably Stone Cold.
That's a good 4. You have any hobbies?
I do. I just got into tinkling around with making wrestling gear. I've been doing a lot of that here lately, trying to see the ins and outs on that. Started fiddling around with that. Right now I basically spend as much time as I can with my daughter. That's like a high I've never known. I mean, when you have that and she smiles at you and blabbers at you and stuff like that. That's a high that you'll never be able to touch. To me, I mean, to anybody else, I don't know, but to me, that's the highest of the highs right there. So I try to spend as much time as I can with my daughter, and then just working the shoot job. So going to the gym every night after visiting with my daughter. I would have to say working out and making wrestling gear. Whenever I get the chance.
You want spend as much time as you can with her because they grow up fast.
Yeah. She already is. She's getting so big, and I'm like, slow down.
Yeah, one day they're 2, and the next day they're 23.
Oh yeah, because it's hard to believe my son is getting ready to turn 23 here at the end of this month.
Oh man,
it's like, dude, it was like last week you were 2.
Yeah, you're 43. Don't tell me.
Yeah, our son turns 30 this year, so yeah, we know all about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it goes quick.
Oh yeah.
Favorite food?
Chinese food.
Chinese food.
That's
any particular dish? Chinese?
I'm I'm gonna have to say the lo mein noodles, even though they're not good for you, and I haven't had them in a very long time. Lo mein noodles, they are probably my favorite.
Anything else?
Marcus, you got anything?
No, I think my paper's cleared off.
I do have one more. How has your mindset changed from when you first got in the business, like before a match, to now that you've been in like 7 years?
I think everybody gets in with that mindset that they want that fame with the crowd, and that they want to do good, and they want to have those those all out matches, and instead of just going out there and trying to just have a good match, it can get in your head. But I would say when you come into the business, you're looking for that fame, that recognition, I guess, that 15 seconds of fame, or 15 minutes of fame, as they say. Now, my mindset before each match is the number one thing about wrestling is safety. I want me and my dance partner to go home the way that we came in. I want us to be healthy, stuff like that, because without them, you can work a blow up doll, but Kenny Omega had a great match with a blow up doll, and not saying that you can't do that, but your dance partner is that. So safety, I try to collab very, very well with who I'm going to be in there with. We try to get the best match that we can out for the fans. But just in general, I just want to go out there and have a good match, and keep each other safe.
Has the injuries that you have had, have they affected your mindset at all?
They have at points and times. I've thought about hanging it up and saying but it's just for some reason I can't. I can't. I had my last knee doctor before I went to a different knee doctor. He told me to not ever do it again. This, it sounds crazy, but I sat there and cried like a baby. My grandma and my girlfriend went with me to the appointment, and I sat there and cried, literally cried for a half hour straight, because I couldn't. He was telling me I could never wrestle again. And then I went and got a second opinion from I would say a more credible knee doctor. He had been doing it longer. He'd been doing more stuff with it. He was world renowned for his way of doing it and stuff like that. So I just went up there and seen him and told him the situation, and told him like what I was doing. And he said for having 4 knee surgery, my knee looks pretty good actually, and that's what really shocked me. And I'm like, but I there's just this love, and when you're in that gorilla, and then you hear that music start playing, I would say that's the second best high I've ever felt in my life, other than my daughter. Like, my daughter, that's number one, but that the second is that right there, right before you pop out that curtain, those fans going wild, like, it feels good, you know what I mean? And so, just, the love that I have, and the passion and everything is just, it's like Bruce's passion for chocolate cakes.
I love it. I love
it. Bruce deserves that, because he's been on you pretty good.
I'm gonna bring a box of Twinkies and shove them all in his mouth this Friday.
Have you wrestled any promotions out of the state of Indiana?
I have a couple times. We went to on my very first wrestling trip. I took a trip with Rob Kincaid over to Franklin, Ohio, to Tough Pro Wrestling. And then I had got linked up with Randy West and Joseph Schwartz one time, and Hoodfoot Mo Atlas. We did a trip to West Virginia down there. Trying to think. that we did that trip up in Michigan. I wasn't able to wrestle there because I was injured at that time. I was almost ready to get back in the ring, but I wasn't fully healed. And so when we drove up to, or not Michigan, when we drove up to Chicago in that minivan with like 6 deep, 8 deep, but I got to learn off, there was Hank Calhoun, Tone C, Jay Plex, there were so many guys, that Justin Danger, there were so many guys in there that were, really valuable minds to the business that, you sat there and you learned so much. So I wouldn't really count that one as working for a promotion, but, you got to go out there and learn and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. You can't say yourself, because last time we brought this up to Blake Money Ride, he wanted to say himself all 3 times. So you can't say yourself. I'm going to clarify that. What 3, in your mind, in your opinion, what 3 independent wrestlers out there are ready to go? I mean, they're ready to move to the next level in your opinion.
I think Jake Oman, he's really, done a lot. He's toured a lot of places. He has always been, for me, a guy that I've never understood why
Same
not.
here.
Yeah.
I've never really understood why he hasn't. He's done extra work on both shows. He actually has wrestled a dark match, and he's just so valuable, like his mind, his knowledge and stuff like that. So probably Jake Oman, Calvin Tankman, as you mentioned earlier. Calvin's really freaking good. I feel like he deserves a shot. I don't know. There's a lot of guys in NWA right now. There's a lot of guys in MLW that deserve it. Alex Hammerstone could be one of them. Jacob Fatu could be one of them. Just a bunch of guys on that third one. I can't really. There's just so many of them out there that I think could be valuable to companies and stuff like that.
All right. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we haven't hit on?
I think that we've hit on a lot. Like I said, I hope I give some knowledge out to the younger people that's either fresh into the business or wanting to get into the business. Like I said, mainly just do it the right way. Go to a school. It's pricey, but it's the best. It's the best thing for you, and just have fun and be safe and go out and do what you can do. And I think that we've covered everything that comes with one of these interviews.
Before we get out of here, let people know where they'll be able to find Brodie Bodkins at here coming up, matches and stuff. And if you have any merch or anything you want to plug.
Okay. So you'll be able to catch me at WCWO this Friday. We got DCCW Saturday. Then there's going to be Summit Pro Sunday. You got AACW next Saturday. You got just hopefully more come to light. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have all those. They're all you gotta do is look up Brodie Bodkins and it'll pop up. You can catch my newest matches uploaded to YouTube. The one that me and Dex just had last Friday was uploaded this week. So
I'm gonna go check it out.
For Marcus, the one that didn't see the frog splash, you can go on there and you can check it out. It gets a really good angle of it. Just follow us, follow Gonzo Wrestling Room, follow WCWO, follow those promoters, because they have some really good stuff coming up in the works. You know, New Era is another place that you'll find me next weekend. I actually have a double shot next weekend on the 15th. I have New Era, then ACW. So, you know, yeah. So, yeah, just anywhere you can. If you want to look it up, all you gotta do is type in Brodie Bodkins, and you'll see. Even on some old GSR photos or videos, you'll see Brodie Bodkins, and you'll see some of the matches that we've had and that they've recorded and, you know, graciously come and done their work. So just follow everybody on here, and if they're on here, then they'll most likely know where Brodie Bodkins is going to be at next.
You're going to be at Summit Pro, you said?
I plan on making the trip up there. I have not been booked, nor do I have a match, but I would love to dip my toes into you know, every promotion. You know, you got IPW in Muncie also. I know that, you know, I'm an independent contractor, so like for me, I just want to wrestle everywhere, and all I want to do is just wrestle. I don't get into the drama side of the business, and I have nothing to do with that. I just want to wrestle. I just want to come and do my job that I'm getting paid to do.
Well, if you do make the trip to Summit Pro and you're free, you're more welcome to stop by and do some commentary with us. We'll be there on Sunday.
Yep,
for sure. Sounds good.
But I want to get that out of my mouth before I swallow it. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Brody, it's been great. I really enjoyed it.
Watching.
Please hit that subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room as well. That's where we post everything about our upcoming shows. We'll actually be at DCCW Saturday night. You can find it live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday we'll be at Summit Pro at 4 p.m. is bell time there. And also on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter at Gonzo Sports Room. And then the weekend after that, we'll be in Kokomo.
Yep.
So we're going to get to see Brody quite a bit here next couple weeks.
Yes, you will. I'm so glad that you guys get to see me. I want the world to see me. That's what I want.
Yep.
We appreciate everybody watching. We will see you guys. See, next G.W.R. would be Saturday, won't it? We'll have no more interviews this week.
Nope.
So we'll see you guys Saturday night for some live pro wrestling. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Yeah, same to you.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.